No, say it ain't so. The highly anticipated fight between Errol Spence and Sebastian the Towering Inferno Fundora is now canceled. Now, I have been waiting long and hard for Errol Spence comeback because I am an Errol Spence fan. When Errol Spence actually fought Terrence Crawford, I was actually going for Errol Spence, and I betted the biggest bag I've ever betted on boxing in that fight. And Errol Spence actually said that he was not living a boxer's lifestyle. So I kind of was talking mad-ish about Errol Spence, even though I'm still a fan. As we all know, there was a huge fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford maybe around 2 years ago, and it was a really highly anticipated fight for many years. But the fight did not play out in Errol Spence's favor, and Terrence Bud Crawford beat the living ish out of Errol Spence, and it was a one-sided A-whooping. And Errol Spence actually said that it was gonna be a one-sided A-whooping, but it was on Terrence Crawford's favor. This wasn't like the biggest fight ever, but for the boxing world it was. And I believe this fight had the boxing world split. Half of the boxing world was going for Errol Spence, and half of the boxing world was going for Terrence Crawford. And because, you know, both of these guys are great fighters, and it was a 50-50 fight, and everybody thought it was gonna be like a split decision. But I mean, Errol Spence did not even win one round. Now, after the aftermath, Errol Spence did not make any excuses till months later, and everybody was making excuses for Errol Spence. A lot of people said that he was fatigued, and people even said that he was smoking weed. I was actually the first person that said that. And there was a lot of other people saying that he was running up the hill only 1 week before the fight, and he took an edible right before the fight. Stupid move. But yes, there was a lot of people saying stuff about the fight. Some people say that some boxer broke his ribs in sparring, and he could not train before months before the fight and stuff like that. And some people even said that he had like eye surgery and he needed cataract surgery. So there was a lot of excuses, but everybody knows Errol Spence is a man's man, and he does not make any excuses. So he actually came out in a video a while back getting pushed on a wheelchair with one of his eyes covered, and he did make an excuse saying that he needed cataract surgery. But I believe that was the only excuse I actually seen Errol Spence come out and say, even though it was a lot of months after that. Why couldn't he get cataract surgery before the Terrence Crawford fight? Hey, but guess what? Terrence Crawford came in prepared, and Terrence Crawford actually was a professional, and he needs his flowers. Terrence Crawford is a G. He's gonna go move up 3 or 4 weight classes to move up and fight Canelo Alvarez, one of the pound for pound kings. Now, a lot of people say that Terrence Crawford is moving up 3 weight classes, but it's really 4 because Canelo actually already campaigned at 175, and he's able to go 12 rounds with 175 pounders between Dimitri Bivol and a bunch of other fighters. Now, no disrespect to Terrence Crawford, but I actually have Canelo beating the living ish out of Terrence Crawford, not because of a highly skilled difference, but because of the weight difference. It's just too much weight. I know Terrence Crawford does have power on both hands, but he's not gonna be able to move Canelo. Canelo could have took Dimitri Bivol's punches, and it did not even really faze him. But I know Terrence Crawford is not even gonna be able to dent or move Canelo. But that's neither here or there. I digress to my point, and the real video is about Errol Spence versus Sebastian Fundora, a highly anticipated fight. Now, to me, I think Errol Spence should not take this fight, but everybody knows Errol Spence is Mr. No Tune-Up. He does not like to take tune-ups. But for this case, because of the beating that he took from Terrence Crawford, and he has been inactive, I would suggest for him to take a tune-up. And I'm starting to think that Errol Spence is already thinking this way because he's the one that actually canceled the fight because he does not think he is prepared. He actually tweeted that he wants the boxing world to see him at his best. But it's been a very long time. You should have been a professional because you are a professional boxer, and you should have been keeping your weight down. You're at the highest caliber. You're one of the best fighters out there, and you should have been keeping your weight down like a true professional, kind of like Floyd Mayweather. Now, I am a big Errol Spence fan. I bought a lot of his pay-per-views. I actually seen Errol Spence live on the Sean Porter fight. Now, that was an amazing fight, worth every penny. The whole house was packed. The whole ring was roaring like a lion. I've been to many boxing fights, but I've never seen something like that. Thank you, Errol Spence. You a G. But I do miss Errol Spence. He's one of my favorite fighters, or was one of my favorite fighters, because to be a fighter, you have to be fighting. So he has not been fighting for a while. But I do miss him, and I do want him to come back. At this point, I really do not care who he fights. Take a tune-up. Fight Adrian Broner. Fight somebody not as hard, and just come back, get your gears back, get them oiled, and just come back. I want to see the way you fare. And if you beat the living ish out of them, come on, then fight Terrence Crawford or Sebastian Fundora. I really think that you're gonna lose to Sebastian Fundora without taking a tune-up. But if you take a tune-up, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to beat him. The old Errol Spence would have beaten Sebastian Fundora, but we do not know. There's a lot of question marks on his career. I just want to see him back. But guess what, guys? I ain't the biggest, I'm the baddest. And if you want to hop out your boy, throw $1 at the super thanks. I gotta roll. Peace.
Welcome to the world.